have your attention yet? I like music. That one should be a given, really. Many of you can probably agree, an anime's soundtrack can make or break the entire show, and in certain cases, the music is the centerpiece foundation that the entire show rests upon. With the case of band anime in particular, it is absolutely critical that the soundtrack and songs stand out in a way that enamors its audience within the first few episodes, and directed towards people like myself who put a lot of emphasis on music with distinct emotional responses, solid composition, and overall feeling instilled in the listener, the standard only becomes that much higher. Music isn't just something you listen to, after all. What do I mean by that? Well, I'll get to that in a little bit. Now, originally, I had a few ideas on the topic of music that would be good to cover. Bocchi the Rock with its themes of social anxiety overshadowed by absolutely manic solos, Guilty Crown with its ability to hook viewers within mere minutes, all thanks to the illustrious performance of Egoist, which, don't worry, I'll be covering Guilty Crown soon-ish, after I've had enough to say about Girls When Cry, and even Meg Dream, which, while the visual appeal and story isn't exactly groundbreaking, I still can't help but enjoy the show due to the fact that it's home to Roselia, the rock artist that got me into J-rock in the first place with their song Determination Symphony. When I got sent this song during the beginning days of me and my buddy getting into a rhythm game called Osu, I was not expecting to be absolutely blown away by the sheer rich presence a rock band could produce, least of all from a song featured by a band anime artist. So naturally, fast forward to present day, I am at least slightly familiar with band anime, along with their usual highlights and shortcomings. Or so I thought. Enter Girls Band Cry, a show I haven't had the chance to familiarize myself with until someone in my Discord, linked in the description, suggested it to me with a glowing recommendation and some derpy-ass Subaru clips, and the first thing to stand out is, well, this is some of the best CGI I've ever seen in anime. Normally, when it comes to CGI in anime, the biggest gripe is how clunky and stiff it makes the characters look, yet despite this show being almost fully animated with 3D models, it's shocking to see just how dynamic and expressive everyone in this show is, to the point where I could say these might be some of the most expressive characters in modern anime. But of course, you can't just stop there. It's a band show. Bands make music, so at some point there should be some music. And this, ladies and gentlemen, although I can't properly showcase it due to our favorite esport of all time, is the point where I was left absolutely speechless. The music, the visual presentation, the overarching message hidden within the lyrics, it was all perfect. No amount of sassy idol drama, no amount of silly exposition, no amount of cliched teenage angst could begin to describe just how much of a surreal, soul-gripping show this is, all captured in this one moment in the very first episode. Well, and there's also the bit with Momoka spreading blatant misinformation. So without further ado, fuck. Right, that's a Toho animation logo. You know what? Fuck it. Copyright dodgeball's my favorite esports, so come on, hit me, bring it on, you slimy fuck. Girls Band Cry is a dramatic musical anime that has graced the planet with its presence since April of 2024. As well as being an anime original production by Toho Animation, let's just add that to the ongoing list. It's the season of originals, boys! And just the season of anime, period, apparently. Summer 2025 is completely stacked. What is this? And starts us on this journey through the eyes of Isare Nina, a high school dropout and runaway who came to the big city to get into a good college early and escape the incessant bullying her former classmates caused her and emotional neglect from her own family. And we'll also notice that on her train ride into the city, she's listening to a song from a band known as Diamond Dust. Remember them, they'll be important later. However, after getting horribly lost on her way to her apartment, she can't get in since she didn't pick up her key on time, her phone died so she can't call anyone, and it's just, Ro is having one hell of a day. But everything seems to work out the way it should, as Nina's seeming misfortune led her to a convenient encounter with the former lead guitarist of Diamond Dust that Nina deeply idolizes, Kawaragi Momoka. And after a little bit of trolling and discovering that Momoka actually intends to leave Tokyo and give up music, a fire lying dormant inside of Nina is lit, with her resolve to not allow her music idol to give up on what she loves, leading her into the very same world that saved her, along with causing her to go mildly insane, or fully insane. Seriously, if you let her loose, this bitch is crazy. Now, granted, this is only episode 1. We only have 2 characters to go off of, and this is a 5-member band, but we'll gradually get to meet the other members, namely Ebizuka Tomo, the gripey perfectionist keyboardist, Rupa, the group's bassist, and, well, the group mom, if you ask me, who both show up a little later into the show, and the lovable ball of derpy shenanigans we all know and love, Awa Subaru. And I mean, there's a reason there's a bunch of clips of her flying around.
この後時間あるでしょご飯行こうご飯おごるから
See, what'd I tell you? Ladies and gentlemen, happy super noises. But before we dig a little into our characters and what makes them special, what would a band anime be without a little band action? Introducing the first track we are able to bear witness to, Void. Now, the whole story behind this track is Momoko wrote this song when she was part of her old band, Diamond Dust, and when she left due to reasons, she gave up the rights to the song, which is where a lot of her initial story and friction with Nina comes from. But all that aside, Jesus Christ! This song is not only our introduction to the kind of sheer power we can expect from the songs to come, the lyrics, the composition, the atmosphere it creates, but it's also our introduction to the breathtaking music video quality cinematography that accompanies these tracks. I'm gonna say it, it's cinema. It's peak cinema. And to think that we're able to expect more of this throughout the next 12 episodes, hell yeah, I'm gonna binge it one night, why wouldn't you? Anyone who's coming into this with no knowledge of J-rock or any Japanese music for that matter, I wouldn't be surprised if this single track not only completely hooks you on the show, but the genre as well. And to think that Void is only the tip of the iceberg when referring to what's to come from the now emerging Togenashi Togeari, or Toge Toge for short. And not just because my pronunciation is shoddy at best. They did that, thank them. Did I also mention that all the voice actors for Toge Toge are the members of the actual band and are new to voice acting? But that was a fun little piece of information to learn, wasn't it? Getting back to the show itself, with how decently put together it is, I was genuinely surprised to find that the show had nearly no attention during the early stages of its release. Turns out, it took them a year to stream it to most popular streaming services. Unless you're a fellow Captain Jack Sparrow, of course. Which is a shame, considering it very well could have been a worthy contender for the winning spot in the Anime Awards. Yes, it's that good, truly earning the title of the best anime you may or may not have heard of. And I mean, sure, it was a risk, it was an unknown IP, no one knew if it was gonna gain any traction, blah blah blah. Honestly, don't fucking care. You pay your animators, get a little bread, I get a good show, everyone's happy. Mostly. I don't know, there's some actual NPCs on this planet, it's really annoying. Despite what these people say, I will agree. Yeah, sure, it's not perfect. See, Girls Band Cry has followed in the footsteps of the story writing direction of making characters flawed. And flawed to a degree where you may not always think they're making the greatest decisions, or better yet, make some really stupid ass decisions. I'm looking at you, Nina. But it also takes that direction in stride and even makes effort to visualize the internal frustrations of our main stars, to properly depict how someone may handle their internal struggles. Some are more outgoing about it than others. Some may bottle up those frustrations until they finally explode, and some mask it behind a pseudo facade, feigning ignorance to their own pain, and dare I say, that flawed character design makes for a flawless experience. Sounds hypocritical? Don't look at me, you're a human being too, I don't give a shit. But if I had to sum up the entire show with one simple explanation without spoiling too much, because, you know, that's the whole point of the Revive series, it would have to be with one song that really steals the show in episode 11. That song being Emptiness and Catharsis. Now, from the outset, if we just completely ignore the visual effects and sheer power of the song opening, which is really hard to do, mind you, you very quickly understand that this song is effectively the complete culmination of the suffering of every member in the band. Nina wasn't able to stick to her beliefs without suffering the consequences of venturing outside the status quo, sending her into a depressive spiral that could have killed her. Momoko wasn't able to stay true to the genuine, heartfelt essence of her songwriting without having to abandon her own bandmates. Subaru wasn't able to vocalize her real passions to her family due to being pressured into succeeding them, to name a few. All of this frustration, hopelessness, feeling of suffocation culminated into what became Emptiness and Catharsis, which can simply be described as a song about being helplessly unable to speak their mind, remove themselves from the status quo that has binded them so many times, and pursue their dreams without reservation. And as much as they would love to give in to the pain and suffering of their misfortunes, they just as badly want to keep on going, for fear of being forgotten or letting themselves fade into obscurity. And who would blame them? If nothing else, it's probably the most relatable song that has come out of anime. This likely doesn't apply to everyone, but for a great deal of people, living flat out sucks. But regardless of your reason for feeling that way, there's something keeping you here. Maybe someone relies on you, or imagining the reaction to your passing hurts more than the pain you yourself have to deal with. Or maybe you get off from looking everyone else in the eye that wants you gone and telling them to go fuck themselves. Whatever reason you're here, so why not make the most of it? Why not pursue your dreams in whatever way you wish? Why not use the limited time you have on this planet to tell the world that you were here, and that it's much more likely for hell to freeze over solid before the day comes that you don't go out on your own terms. So make sure to go out with a bang. And well, that's all you get from me. Make sure you hit that like and sub button to support the channel, and join the Discord to chat with me and the other dipshits that like to talk about random anime things. I've been ArkNeuron, and I'll catch you all in the next one.